All right, live, and we've got people joining. Jim 3030. Hey Jim, how's it going? There we go, get the light a bit better. All right. Swimmer girl, hey Jim. Hey, what's up? I'm good, Jim. How are you? Where are you tuning in from today? Hello, I'm new. Swimmer girl, hey. Where are you tuning in from today? Philly. Nice to meet you guys. Nice to meet you as well. Hi Megan, I'm Paul. Bex Tina, I'm also new. Good to have some new people on Periscope. Hey. Hope you guys are all doing well. Just to explain a little bit about what's going to happen here, I'll just kind of take my time while a few other people join. Hopefully we get a few extras. Rhode Island, that's awesome. I'm coming to you guys from Auckland in New Zealand, and it's about 4:30 in the afternoon here. And today I wanted to talk about the power of positive thinking. And so for you guys or for those guys who perhaps don't know who I am, my name is Paul, and I blog about productivity over at paulminers.com. And I blog about productivity because I'm all about getting more out of life and squeezing as much as I can out of life, and productivity is my tool for doing that. And I wanted to talk about this idea of positive thinking. I was watching this vlog recently. I don't know if you guys know, for those of you in New York, if you know of Casey Neistat in New York. And I was watching his vlog recently, and I'm still catching up. And he got this question. He does a Q&A segment, and he got this question where somebody asked him, hey Casey, how are you able to always remain so positive? And he kind of responded by saying, well, what's the alternative? To be negative? Like, what's the point in that? He kind of explains things in such a simple way. It kind of struck me like, yeah, he's so right. Like, why do we always say, oh, why is positive thinking so hard, when really the alternative is to just be upset and be negative is kind of stupid. So I wanted to explore this idea a little bit today, and I've got my notes over here. Yeah, he mentioned in response to this question, one of the things he said is that if you think about it, negativity is pretty typical of lazy people. And of course we're generalizing here, but it's very easy to be negative, and that's why lazy people tend to be quite negative. If you think about it, it's very easy to just sit there and do nothing and just complain. And if something happens in your life, if some obstacle kind of hits you and there's something blocking your way, it's very easy to just sit there and complain while you do nothing about this obstacle. It's much harder to be positive. Hey John, can't see the rest of your name. Thanks for joining, John. So it's much harder, to be positive because it requires more work. And this is, I mean, of course we're generalizing here, but I kind of see it as like, how you choose to spend your time is one of the most important decisions that you will ever need to make. And that's kind of why I'm all about blogging about productivity. And so I kind of view it as, why waste your time being negative? Oh, thank you for the love hearts there. That's awesome. Purple love hearts. And so why waste your time being negative? If time is so limited and how you choose to spend your time is so important, why waste it being negative? And so I've got a couple of books that I wanted to recommend that help in the way of encouraging positive thinking. So the first one is The Obstacle is the Way, and this is by Ryan Holiday. And this is a great book, and it's basically all about how to turn these obstacles in your life, these bad things that happen, into opportunities to learn and to grow. And that's really one of the first steps, is when something bad happens, is to use it as an opportunity to learn and grow. Actually look at how can you benefit from this bad thing that's happening to you. And a lot of the time in the book, Ryan talks about this idea of perception. And he says, and this is very typical of Stoic philosophy, which again comes up in the book quite a lot, but he says there's no such thing as good and bad, as positive and negative. It all comes down to perception. And so how you choose to perceive things is totally within your control. And so something we might view as being bad, we're actually perceiving that as bad in it, and we're deciding to make that a bad thing. So that's the first key kind of like takeaway here, is that how you view things is everything. And so, yeah, that's a really good book. The Obstacle is the Way by Ryan Holiday. The second book I wanted to point to is The Magic of Thinking Big by David Schwartz. This is another great book. And one of the kind of takeaway I wanted to pull out of this was very inspiring. Oh, thank you, Lauren. Thank you very much. That means a lot. So the main takeaway I wanted to pull out of this book was that David Schwartz, he talks a lot about how often people make excuses, and this holds them back, and this is why they get sucked into this kind of negative way of thinking, is that people make excuses, either about like their health or the amount of time they have or their finances or whatever the case may be, but people just tend to make excuses a lot. And so, yeah, that's another great book, and it goes into a lot more about all these sorts of things as well. And so it's all about how to think big, how to think positively. And one of the other important takeaways from this book was this idea that don't surround yourself, or try and not get bogged down by the negative people in your life. And I really like the expression that you are the average of the 5 people that you surround yourself with. And so that's kind of one of the kind of warnings here, is that don't, if you do have negative people in your life who are trying to bring you down, and that's quite typical of negative thinking, is that these people will try and bring other people down with them. Be careful of that. So just be wary of any negative people in your life, and perhaps point them in the direction of some of these books and encourage them to think more positively as well. So to kind of sum up with some action points, I've got a couple here. One of the first things, one of the kind of actionable things I want you guys to take away is that this idea that you should really just learn from the bad things that happen to you, from the negative things that happen to you, if you do indeed perceive them as negative, is use them as an opportunity to learn and to grow. And so, for example, something that is slowing you down, that is preventing you from making progress, you could view as an opportunity to practice patience. And I know that I'm someone who, as I'm always trying to achieve more and more and more, I need to practice patience a lot more. And so that's a really good opportunity to practice patience. One of the other key takeaways is practice being objective. So instead of viewing everything as either good or bad, try and keep this idea of perception front of mind and be more objective. And so instead of just reacting straight away and going, oh, that sucks, I'm going to be negative, take a minute, just kind of actually work out, is this a good thing? Is it a bad thing? How can I benefit from this? How can I learn? Again, stop making excuses. Hey there, stop making excuses, because excuses aren't going to allow you to achieve anything. And finally, just try and avoid those negative people in your life. And when you do kind of cultivate this mindset of positive thinking, I mean, that's just going to bring about a greater sense of happiness and fulfillment and enjoyment in your life. And as I said at the beginning, how you choose to spend your time is one of the most important decisions that you will need to make in your life. And so I know that for me, I want to spend it in the most positive, happy, fulfilling way that I can. And so I really like this idea of cultivating positive thinking wherever possible. So yeah, those 2 books again, there was The Magic of Thinking Big by David Schwartz and The Obstacle is the Way. I've got book summaries of both of these books available on my website, paulminers.com. So if you head on over there, I've actually summarized these books. So if you don't want to read the whole thing, you can actually download the summaries in a PDF. So those are up there. And actually, to finish off, there is a really good quote at the end of this book, which maybe I'll read out, and then I'll leave you guys with kind of that final thought. Let me see if I can find it. Let's have a look. Okay, here we go. So, see things for what they are. Do what you can, endure and bear what we must. What blocked the path now is a path. What once impeded action advances action. The obstacle is the way. Great book. Highly recommend it. So thank you very much for tuning in. If you want to learn more about me, I blog about productivity over at paulminers.com. And yeah, check out the book summaries. Please follow me on Periscope, where I'm going to be talking more about productivity and just getting more out of life. I'm at Paul Miners, so don't forget to follow. And hopefully see you guys on a future stream sometime soon. Cheers.